Okay, so this is the recording for podcast number 6, I guess. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit more wide-ranging, I would say, slightly less focused. I just have a few different topics to go through here. I guess the first thing that I can start out with, seeing as it's December 28th, NBA Christmas. Looks like it went pretty well, pretty successful in terms of the games they were able to put on. Obviously, the NBA being outdrawn by the NFL and college football is a reality, but social media plus waving your hands at it means success. So as far as the games they had on, Wembanyama, 42 points, 18 rebounds, looking every bit the alien that he is, and other things, Celtics lose on Christmas, but they brought it within 4 points at the end, I guess. Didn't get to see that one because traveling, but other than that, also the game between Steph and LeBron, and then Jokic later on that night. Decent set of NBA games, and that's what the NBA really ought to do, is focus on starting their season on Christmas, signature day, signature games, and then signature players. And regardless of who got picked, you're starting to see the memes. Wemby realizing he's going to be working on Christmas the next 18 years, etc. Very funny, but I think that the NBA had a successful day, and anybody could point out that their most successful stars are Steph Curry and LeBron James, as if the NBA is stuck almost a decade behind itself. But that notwithstanding, I think you can just give it to the NBA that they had a successful day and not quibble too much. I don't think there's much reason to really try to undermine what they did just because they're not the NFL or college football. I mean, they are what they are, regardless of whether they deserve the entirety of their media rights package or if it's more of a blank check sort of situation. It is what it is, and that's NBA Christmas for you. Touch on baseball real quick. It looks like Teoscar Hernandez signed with the Dodgers. What was it, 3 years, $60-some million, with $20-some million of it deferred. So clearly the Dodgers continue with their LA tax scheme, or I should say CA tax scheme, because it's really a California tax scheme, as far as it seems like they're just trying to help enable players to avoid California state taxes. So wonder what the state of California thinks about that. But that notwithstanding, certainly interesting how many deferred dollars they're giving away, because as far as Hernandez is concerned, I'm pretty sure the number is 30-some million whenever he gets his deferred money. And again, most of the money that they have deferred is tied up in Shohei Ohtani, but just throw this out there. Where do these sports think this revenue is going to come from, that they're going to pay all this money out? It's very interesting. I can see from the Shohei side of it how you could potentially pay that one out, maybe. I don't even know about that, but just giving every single player a deferred contract, I think that eventually they're going to have to address it in the CBA from the standpoint of not all the owners are going to be doing that. Not all of them are going to have the capacity to do that, not as consistently, etc. And I think you look at the Red Sox signing Walker Buehler. I didn't hear about any deferred money there. They hear about Corbin Burns signing today, and congratulations to him. He got the same amount of money that Zach Greinke got, I think, from the same organization however many years ago. So Scott Boras keeping the status quo and arguably not advancing it at all. But that's just me ripping on Scott Boras because he decided to go announce that A-Rod was going to be a free agent while the Red Sox were winning the World Series. So fuck him. But I think the deferred money situation is frankly strange, and somebody could eventually explain it such that it would make sense. I'm not going to be completely closed-minded to that possibility as far as especially explaining how it makes sense for the players from a financial perspective, because the first thought that comes to my mind is, give me my money now, and then applying it to them, give them their money now. Don't tell them to wait 10 years to get your money right now. And, with the valuation of currencies and other economic matters, I would definitely want my motherfucking money right now. But other people get to make the decisions they want, and whether they think it's going to maximize their returns over time somehow. Again, seemingly for tax evasion reasons. Not to say it's tax evasion, but it's tax evasion, in my opinion. As a non-tax expert, you're literally trying to move your earnings out of the state in which you earn them. And just transport it into the future because contract and reasons. I just don't know how that really plays out, because again, I'm not an expert. But just wanted to touch on that really quickly for baseball. As far as the Red Sox are concerned, Garrett Crochet, Walker Buehler was starting to put together a starting rotation. As far as speculation about Alex Bregman and third base for the Red Sox, and where's Rafi going to play? Because I don't want to hear any speculation. Rafi's not going to play. Rafi should be with the Red Sox as long as he wants, and as long as the Red Sox are playing competent baseball. And, if they're going to move him to DH, and I'm not saying that's the worst thing, but let's evaluate that carefully, because even though he's not a good third baseman, I don't think Rafi not being a good third baseman in the field is the difference between the Red Sox competing for a World Series and not. It doesn't help the team that he's not a great third baseman, but I'm pretty sure they won the World Series in 2018 with him at third base. So, I don't think that's make or break. You want the hitting. So, I think, as far as Bregman is concerned, whether or not some people say he's going to change the team, the dynamic of it, be a leader. I frankly don't know how much I care about that. I probably care more about having the right mix of players on the team, which again is why somebody like Juan Soto ultimately I don't think made a ton of sense for the Red Sox in their current roster construction, even though I think they would clearly be better right now if they had Soto, but given the amount they would have had to pay out, probably wouldn't have been beneficial on the balance of it. But that's just me spitting out an opinion that could be wrong. But the Red Sox picking up two high quality starting pitchers. We'll hope that Walker Buehler will have the health in order to make the most on that particular investment. And then Crochet, seemingly trading a bunch of prospects for him, including a catcher. That's a little tough to swallow, but if you get a great quality starting pitcher and you can compete right away, and how many of those prospects are really going to turn out the way they ought to. Look at the Mookie Betts deal. So as far as those things are concerned, it's interesting, because I'll be interested to see how the Red Sox play next year. Right now, I wouldn't even be surprised necessarily if they came out with a better rotation only to realize, damn, we need to shore up the offense a bit, or defense, like whatever the situation's going to be. Not even sure on that, but I think I would love to see the Red Sox get like one more high quality bat in the lineup, whether that's Bregman or not, because I honestly, and this is judgmental as hell, but I don't care, having a guy whose specialty is hitting the inside pitch almost exclusively, that's great for Fenway, I guess, right-handed hitter. I just don't know how much I love that as one of the signature pieces on a team, but he's been on the Astros. They've been great for years, and he's been great with them, so that could be an incorrect opinion. I haven't really dove into any statistics on the matter. It's just impression based on things I've read and seen, that Bregman basically doesn't hit outside pitching. That's judgy saying doesn't hit, but doesn't hit outside pitching effectively as compared to his stats against inside pitching. And so, Not to say that makes him one-dimensional as a hitter, but it's it makes it more of a polarizing sort of set of outcomes that you could potentially get from bringing a guy like Bregman on, and how much are you going to have to pay? How good of an idea is that? Does this become another sort of Trevor Story situation where we're essentially signing the guy who was 4 years ago and then getting the guy who is right now? So many injuries with Trevor Story, and I'm just gonna pivot away from that because that's negative, and that's about all I have to say about the Red Sox right now. It's only off season, so talking about baseball too much potentially, could overdo it along those lines. So just wanted to talk briefly though about the deferred salary issue in baseball, and just briefly outline an idea that, one thing about the situation is it kind of sets alarm bells off in my head as far as, are these people really thinking about the future in a serious, sustainable way? Or are they doing a sort of a scheme for the present? Something that certainly seems like it has helped and is helping the Dodgers at present, but how much does this help the rest of professional baseball? How much does this help the sports landscape as a whole? What does this say about the opinions of rich people and the state of being of society 10 years down the road, where a Major League Baseball team is going to be paying out, $1 billion in deferred salaries 10 years from now? Are we really saying the revenues of baseball are going to go up that high? What are you going to do? Continue raising the prices for tickets and $500 concessions in the stands? At a certain point, people are going to these games, but at a certain point people are going to get pissed off, and it's already, I think, a matter of, for somebody who, to use a broad term, is poor, not poor on a global sense, but poor from an American sense. If you're going to a professional sporting event, most likely it is that you're making an event of it. It's not a regular thing for you. And whether professional sports can survive on a model where people are only going in person irregularly at best, and then if there's ratings down for whatever sport, or ratings up for 2-3 years, I think having a macro view and trying to think about things long term makes more sense when you're a commissioner for a sport. So, golden at bat rules and other stupid ideas need to be, referred to as such, as stupid, and shouldn't be considered. And anybody who considers it is stupid. And if you're considering it and you consider yourself not to be stupid, please reflect on how stupid that idea is, and please stop considering it, etc. But the ideas like that, ideas like punching up, the NBA Cup or the friggin' NBA All-Star Game, All-Star Week, who gives a shit? Do what you do best. As far as the NBA, they can celebrate the Christmas day that they had because the games were good. But, creating things that just don't matter, or just doing Mickey Mouse sort of, it's just Bush League, low-level, unintelligent, just uncreative ideas where it's you don't have anything better? NBA Cup, weird formatting to the NBA All-Star Game that's gonna allegedly get me to watch the game. I friggin' doubt it. No offense to the NBA, you sowed the seeds of your own destruction as far as the All-Star Game was concerned for the last decade and a half, 2 decades, and nobody wants to hear about it because you guys frigged around and took a game that was halfway decent, where the dudes wore their own jerseys and played East versus West, traditional format, and it was a halfway decent basketball game that people could sort of enjoy. And then you had the dunk contest and the 3-point contest and whatever other silliness that they're doing alongside for skills competitions and stuff. That was a solid idea at the time, but it doesn't seem the players have taken the All-Star Game as seriously, basically from sort of the beginning of the player empowerment era, they've realized the All-Star game is not important, doesn't matter, and they treated it as such. And now they're reaping what they sowed because people don't care, and I don't care because, watching the All-Star game to watch dudes, compete 180 to 176 or whatever, that's not fucking basketball. That's some bastardized form of the game that I don't want to fucking watch. And watching, NBA players play street ball, 4 teams of 4, whatever the friggin' format is, it's dumb, and it's just not a good idea. Like, even if you get people to watch it, it's still stupid. And so I understand that these are businesses and businesses first, but I also thought that they were sometimes the purveyors of creative ideas and whatnot. So, NBA on Christmas, pretty successful as far as, everything else is concerned, potentially riding a bit of a struggle bus right now. But that's it. Just wanted to jump on here for a quick podcast, and I think I've got it. Thanks.